Princess Rose and the Golden Bird. Most of us remember and cherish Cinderella as our most favorite character for decades. There are many more fabulous and cherishing fairy tales featuring beautiful creatures. There are many unforgettable and cherishing imaginary characters live forever in everyone's heart. One such beautiful and attractive girl is Princess Rose. Princess Rose and the Golden Bird is one of the unforgettable fairy tales. The tale of the Princess Rose is here. Once upon a time, there lived a beautiful princess named Rose. She had long, wavy, and shiny golden red hair. She was named perfectly as she loved and adored the roses. She had one glowing golden bird who will visit her in the evenings. The princess and the golden bird will sing mesmerizing song where all people in the kingdom peacefully sleep with sweet dreams. The bird will begin making the sound sing the beautiful hair of the princess, and she will join with the bird. Both of them used to sing lullaby to make people sleep and keep singing the lullabies until sunrise. While people lived peacefully, a wicked witch came to know about the golden bird and the hair color of the Princess Rose. She cursed the princess, and her hair turned ugly black. As usual, the bird started singing, seeing the black hair of the princess, and she continued. While people fell asleep, none of them had sweet dreams. Rather, they were terrible and fearful. Princess heard about the nightmare dreams and was so worried. She asked the golden bird what she should do to turn her hair red. The bird asked her to dip her hair in rose water, and she did. Surprisingly, the hair turned beautiful red with the usual glow. Undoubtedly, everyone fell asleep hearing the lullaby and had sweet dreams. Knowing this, the witch cursed again and now removed all rose flowers and petals from the kingdom. Timun Mas. Long time ago, in the island of Java, Indonesia, lived a few farmers. They had actually wed from some years, however, they had no children, so they hoped to a beast called Buta Ijo to give them kids. Buta Ijo was a ferocious and powerful beast. He granted their dream on one condition. When their kids had grown up, they had to sacrifice them to Buta Ijo. He liked consuming fresh meat of person. The farmers consented to his problem. Several months later, on the other half was expectant. She gave birth to a beautiful baby lady. They called her Timun Mas. The farmers more than happy. Timun Mas was extremely healthy as well as a very wise lady. She was likewise very attentive. When she was a teen, Buta Ijo concerned their home. Timun Mas was terrified, so she fled the council. The farmers then informed Buta Ijo that Timun Mas was still a youngster. They asked him to hold off. Buta Ijo agreed. He guaranteed to come again. The following year, Buta Ijo returned. But again and again their parents said that Timun Mas was still a youngster. When the third time Buto Ijo came, their moms and dads has prepared something for him. They gave Timun Mas numerous bamboo needles, seed of cucumber, clothing, and also salt. Timun, take these things. Just what are these points? These are your tools. Buta Ijo will case you. He will eat you active. So run as rapid as you can, as well as if he will certainly capture you. Spread this to the ground. Now go. Timun Mas was terrified, so she ran as quickly as she could. When Buta Ijo arrived, she was much from home. He was very upset when he recognized that his victim had actually left. So he went to kiss her. He had a sharp nose, so he knew what direction his victim ran. Timun Mas was just a lady while Buta Ijo was a monster, so he could easily capture her up. When he was just numerous actions behind, Timun Mas quickly spread the seeds of cucumber. The seeds they turned into numerous vines of cucumber. The worn down Buta Ijo was really thirsty, so he ordered and ate them. When Buta Ijo was busy consuming cucumber, Timun Mas can flee. However, soon Buta Ijo understood and also began running again. When he was just a number of steps behind Timun Mas, threw her bamboo needles. Quickly, they transformed into dense bamboo tree. Buta Ijo discovered it through to pass. It took him time to damage the thick bamboo woodland. Meanwhile, Timun Mas can run farther. Buta Ijo cased her once more. When he almost captured her again and again, Timun Mas tossed her clothing. This moment it developed into a leg. Buta Ijo was busy to save himself, so Timun Mas ran away. Yet Buta Ijo can conquer it and also continue casing her. Finally, when Timun Mas was almost captured, she tossed her salt. Quickly the land where Buta Ijo stood turned into ocean. Buta Ijo was sunk and also passed away quickly. Timun Mas was appreciative to God and also come back to her home. The legend of Ruai birth. In the past, there was a kingdom in West Kalimantan. The king had seven little girls. The queen had actually passed away. The king did not intend to remarry. The seven daughters were beautiful, never heartless. The youngest little girl was one of the most stunning. She was likewise the kindest. She commonly helped other individuals. Her sisters were significantly different. They were lazy. They additionally had attitude problem. They were cruel to individuals. The king learned about his daughter's practice. He typically advised his older child to practice. He commonly advised his older little girls to behave like the youngest little girl. Regretfully, they never heard the king's advice. They had their youngest sibling, due to the fact that the king commonly prized her excellent behavior. The older children commonly did horrible points to the youngest child. They commonly struck her. She was very depressing. She usually cried. She might not inform it to her daddy since her older siblings constantly intimidated her. They would certainly strike her also harder if she informed their daddy. One day the king asked all her daughters to meet him. "I'm most likely to be bordering kingdom. I'll opt for numerous months. While I'm gone, my youngest daughter will rule the kingdom. Do you comprehend?" asked the king. "Yes, we do, Papa," claimed all the little girls. The older children were upset. They very upset regarding their youngest sibling was asked to rule the kingdom. After the king left, they prepared something negative. They wished to remove their youngest sister. They pretend to be wonderful to her. The youngest child enjoy. Lastly, her older siblings behave to her. The older sister asked her to go fishing. They asked to head to Gua Batu or a stone cave. There was a river streaming inside the cavern, and there were a great deal of fish because a river. The youngest child was so delighted when they ultimately reached the cave. She don't know that her siblings were most likely to do something negative to her. "Rush, let's go inside the cave. You could discover a lot of fish inside the cavern," said the oldest daughter. The youngest was so excited as she went inside the cavern. She did not know that her is remained outside the cavern. They continued asking her to go inside the cave. She kept walking till she was shed. She was calling out all horses. However, they did not respond. She after that recognized that her siblings did not want her to rule the kingdom anymore. She was extremely sad. She sobbed. Instantly an old man came. He was a holy man. He was practicing meditation in the cave. She changed her tears right into eggs. "Don't fret, I could assist you. You can go back to the kingdom, yet you need to change into a bird. I call you Ruai bird. Afterwards, brood these eggs. After they hatch, the birds will accompany you," said the old man. She agreed. Slowly she became a stunning bird, and also nevertheless the eggs were hatched. They went back to the kingdom. They all stayed at the tree near the kingdom. They all saw exactly how the king penalized the older sis. The Legend of Malin Kundang. Long time ago, in a tiny town near the coastline in West Sumatra, lived a female and her son, Malin Kundang. Malin Kundang's papa had actually died when he was a child, as well as he had to live talk with his mom. Malin Kundang was a healthy, diligent, and also strong kid. He generally went to the sea to capture fish, as well as brought it to his mommy or offered it in the community. One day, When Malin Kundang was cruising customarily, he saw a fender ship which was being raided by a tiny band of pirates. With his take on and also power, Malin Kundang beat the pirates. The merchant was so happy and also asked Malin Kundang to cruise with him. Malin Kundang agreed. Several years later on, Malin Kundang ended up being a wealthy sailor with a substantial ship, lots of trading goods, numerous ship crews, as well as a beautiful wife. In his journey, his ship arrived on a coastline. The citizens recognized him and the news ran quick in the community. Malin Kundang came to be an abundant man and now he is right here. His mother, in deep full sadness after years of isolation, ran to the beach to fulfill her precious boy once again. When the mom came, Malin Kundang, in front of his well-dressed older half, his dreams and his own glory, reject to satisfy that old, poor, and filthy woman. For 3 times she pledged Malin Kundang and also for 3 times yelled at him. At last Malin Kundang said to her, "Enough, old female. I have actually never ever had a mom like you, an unclean and also ugly peasant." After that, he bowed his teams to set out. Afraid, she cursed Malin Kundang that he would certainly turn into a stone if he didn't apologize. Malin Kundang simply giggled as well as set sail. In the quiet sea, unexpectedly, an electrical storm came. His substantial ship was damaged, and it was far too late for Malin Kundang to say sorry. He was thrown by the wave out of his ship, fell on the tiny island, and instantly transformed into rock. The eagle who lived like a hen. In a forest, an eagle lived on a tree. It had constructed a nest wherein to lay its eggs. There, the eagle would certainly hatch its eggs throughout the day. Under the same tree there lived a hen. The hen had also laid eggs throughout the very same period when the eagle had actually laid its eggs. One day, while the eagle had actually gone from hunting, a bear went up the tree to consume the eagle's eggs. The bear had actually completed 3 of the eggs when the fourth one slid off its hands as well. Nest. On returning, the eagle could not locate her eggs. Feeling extremely distressed, she chose to leave the location. Then, hen which lived under the tree saw the eagle's egg alongside her eggs. She felt its pity on the eagle's egg as she decided to hatch it too. After a few days, the hen's chicks hatched. The eagle's chick hatched too. The hen would feed all the chicks, including the eagle's chick, as if it were her very own. Soon the chicks began to grow. The young chicks would certainly pay attention to their mother's sounds and also attempt to mimic her. The eagle's chick additionally grabbed the hen's noise. The chicks would all play with each other and also make lots of sound. Within no time, the hen's chick along with the eagle's chick matured to their full size. The eagle's chick never ever recognized that it was an eagle and also not a chicken. Considering itself a chicken, the eagle would certainly eat chicken's food, would certainly stroll as well as run like various other chickens and would make sound like chickens. The eagle never learned to fly like older eagles as well as live its entire life like a hen only.